Today we'll be wrapping up the regular season here in year number 4 for the Portland Trail Blazers franchise here on NBA 2K24. I know I said that we were going to finish the regular season in the last episode, and I may have lied about that, but this time I promise I'm being serious. We only have one more game left to go, but there is still a lot on the line seeding-wise for our Trailblazers, who can finish anywhere between 2nd and 4th. Currently, we're in 4th place, a game behind the Thunder and the Kings, and our goal has been to get a top 3 seed since the All-Star break because we want to avoid the Spurs at all costs in the first round of the playoffs. Now, there's also the chance the Spurs don't even get the 5 seed. They've lost 4 games in a row, and Minnesota and Dallas are right there with them. So there's a lot of different possible scenarios for us moving up or the Spurs moving down. We're also going to go through our studs and duds of the year today. Of course, the Google form is in the link in the description, and we'll go over the finalists for both of those awards, or I guess punishment in the case of the dud of the year, at the end of the episode. Of course, our team is pretty banged up right now. Ochai Agbaji and Enzo Shabazz are both currently injured. We're hoping that both of them are going to be back around the time we start the playoffs. And if that's the case, then we should have a fully healthy roster for the first time since probably the 6th game of the year. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to do a lot of simcasting, going over all the relevant games for us, and that's not just with the Kings and the Thunder, but also the teams fighting for the 5th seed, San Antonio, Dallas, and Minnesota. Those matchups are all very important for us as well. So let's start with Oklahoma City and Sacramento. We need the Thunder to lose this game, otherwise we cannot finish above them. They're playing against the number 1 seeded Rockets, and unfortunately OKC gets the win in a close one, 100-93. So this means we cannot jump up to 2. The highest we can possibly move to is 3. That depends on who wins this game, and luckily for us, the Jazz are motorboating Sacramento. They win 128-114. So with a win, we can possibly move up to the number 3 spot, depending on certain tiebreakers and whatnot. This Dallas game is also pretty important. They're going up against the Phoenix Suns. Dallas winning probably makes it less likely we play the Spurs, I think. So, of course, that doesn't happen. And this means Dallas cannot jump up to 5. So if we do stay at 4, it's more and more likely that we do go play against the Spurs. Now we have our game. We're going up against the Memphis Grizzlies, who are out of the playoffs. Of course, they traded Desmond Bane for Kawhi Leonard during the season, hoping it would light a spark for them, and that hasn't really been the case. Ja Morant, of course, is still a fantastic player, but the rest of the roster was just kind of disappointing this year. The loss of Jaren Jackson proved to be a really big deal, and he is a big reason why the Utah Jazz had a pretty successful season, finishing in 8th place of the conference. So our Blazers can lock ourselves into the 4 spot with a loss. With a win, we can possibly move up to 3 and have a slightly better chance of avoiding the San Antonio Spurs, the team who swept us in the playoffs last year in the first round. The Grizzlies, being out of the playoffs, don't have anything to play for, but they are going to play all their starters because they are generational haters. As Memphis wins the tip, and we are underway. Hide your weapons, kids, because Ja Morant is coming. Kawhi Leonard looking to ISO on Khalil Griffin, and the claw is showing that he's still got some offensive skill, even though his numbers have certainly regressed over the past few seasons. But he can still make plays. Here's Shaedon Sharpe with the drive, and the finish! A nice slam there for Shaedon Sharpe, the leading scorer of this Blazers team, averaging right around 23 a night. Springer, open in the corner, knocks down the open 3. Nice shot for Darius Springer, who continues to significantly improve his 3-point shooting. He's likely going to finish over 40% from beyond the arc this year. Ja Morant gets a 3 right back, and he appears to be wincing in pain. Even though it's the last game of the year and they have no reason to risk further injury, they're going to keep him in the game because, again, apparently they don't like us. The lob is unsuccessful on the other end. Scoot Henderson hits the 3. Great ball movement in transition by the Trailblazers as it's now 6-10. Marcus Smart inside. His shot is tipped by Porzingis. On the other end, Kristaps out to Griffin. Another open 3. Won't fall. Springer with the offensive rebound. And Darius Springer is in with the putback. Springer should finish the year averaging double-digit rebounds per game, showing he's one of the best rebounders in the league. Nick Claxton inside, beats the shot clock, floats that one up and in over Porzingis as it's 12-8. Porzingis, crossover, inside, draws the foul, gets the bucket, and 1 for Kristaps Porzingis, as Claxton, one of the best interior defenders in the game, is called for the foul. Kristaps would miss the free throw, however, as it's 14-8. There's the claw. Kawhi Leonard, who hits the three for Memphis. 16-11 now. Blazers still on top. Smart looks to post up on Scoot Henderson, and he is snuffed at the rim. Kristaps Porzingis with the denial. On the following possession, Scoot Henderson pump fake, thinks about the shot again, won't take it. Gets it over to Shaedon Sharpe, drives right side, and Sharpe shows off some style with the slam, and it's 18-11. Portland's defense has been really good so far. The Memphis offense really has not gotten much going, other than the Claw, who's been pretty good so far. He gets that one to fall. Kawhi Leonard now with 7 points, as it is 13-8. Scoot Henderson with it, looking to get by Marcus Smart, and Scoot Henderson is in for the dunk. Speaking of great defenders, Marcus Smart on this team as well. Him, Kawhi, and Claxton would be probably the greatest defensive trio in the league if this was 5 years ago. There's Scoot Henderson, who knocks down the step-back three. Despite being matched up with Smart, Scoot has been really good today. 15-23. There's Kawhi Leonard, the Claw, with another one. He's got double digits here in the first quarter. Over half of Memphis' points. Scoot Henderson with a poster inside, adding to the Blazers' lead as he's in and sends it home over Claxton. 25-20. Henderson in the double figures himself with 10. Gets it over to Zay Logan, and the second-year pro out of Alabama State knocks down the three. Logan looking to wrap up what was a really successful second season. Keep in mind, he is a restricted free agent in the offseason and should make some money. Australia's finest, Dyson Daniels, is in with the slam, 6-point game. Scoot Henderson on the move, jumper no good. The rookie wishing with the rebound, out to Logan. Another three, it's good. Zay Logan has been legitimately one of the most efficient offensive players in the league this year. He does not miss many shots. Springer looking to back down on the smaller defender, and he does successfully. Darius Springer has Portland up by 9. 33-24, Ja Morant back in the game. Morant with the screen. Morant inside off the pick and roll. Claxton is good despite a nice defensive contest from Ashton Wisham. And it looks like that'll wrap up the first quarter unless Portland can get some kind of miracle. Simons at the buzzer, no good. Pretty strong start here for the Blazers. Obviously, game 82, you normally don't have a lot to play for, but that is not the case here for Portland, who's looking pretty good so far. They currently lead by 9. Here's Ja Morant with it inside. Floater is no good. Thomas Bryant with the offensive rebound. And the former Badger gets the putback. 7-point game. Porzingis gets it over to Griffin. Looks to drive by the defender. And Griffin is in for the acrobatic layup. He is on the board with his first basket of the game. 9-point lead once again. Morant, guarded by Malachi Suleiman, looks to get some room. Morant for three. Bang, bang! That's normally the sound that Ja Morant's AK goes, but instead, that's how the shot goes. Simons' sidestep jumper is airballed. Not ideal. Blazers are not off to a very good start offensively here in the second quarter with just 4 points through the first 4 minutes. Shaedon Sharpe, wide open, looks to stop the drought as he hits the three for the Trailblazers. 7-point lead. Claxton with it inside, guarded by Logan, no good. We had Zay Logan matched up on Wembanyama in the last episode, and he did a really good job defensively. Apparently, he can play the 5 on defense. Springer misses a layup, though, on the other end, so that's not ideal. As Portland forces the turnover, Logan makes another play on defense. Cross-court pass, Griffin out to Sharpe. Sharpe drives inside, and he gets that one to fall. Not only Portland's offense is struggling here in the second quarter, but Memphis is as well. These offenses have hit a dry spell in this quarter as Daniels gets the floater to fall. The lead has stayed roughly between 5 to 9 points in favor of the Blazers. With both offenses struggling, there's no reason for the lead to change much if nobody's scoring. Off the smart miss. Simons off the catch. He drills for three. And the Trailblazers are up by double figures. 35-45 with 2 minutes to go in the half. Good ball movement here by Memphis. Daniels with it in the corner, looking to get somebody open off the screen. It's Nick Claxton, who's wide open in the paint. He gets the dunk, and that brings the lead down to 8. 45-37 now. Scoot Henderson with it. He's doubled. Shaedon Sharpe wide open, and he hits the mid-ranger on the move. Sharpe down in the double figures with 11, as the backcourt's done a great job tonight for the Blazers. 39-48 with under a minute left in the half. Morant for three. Bop, bop. Hide your kids. Ja Morant, the sniper from beyond the arc. 42-48 now with around 15 seconds left in the quarter. Morant looks to lob it up, and he is successful. When he first made that pass, it looked like it was going to go in the middle of nowhere, but it ended up working. Final seconds of the half, Shaedon Sharpe misses the fadeaway three, and that'll wrap up a very low-scoring first half. Neither team on pace for 100 here, as the Trailblazers lead 48-44. Both offenses are really struggling right now. The Blazers only scored like 15 points in that last quarter, and it didn't matter because Memphis's offense was not a whole lot better, but the Grizzlies do have the momentum. This is the closest this game has been in an awful while, so the Blazers are hoping for a strong start here to the third. Sharpe with it, gets it over to Scoot Henderson. Not a lot of time on the shot clock as Scoot Henderson blows by the defender. He's just faster and quicker than everybody, and once Scoot beats you with his first step, you're not catching up. He's gone. 52-44, Morant inside for Nicholas Claxton, who makes the layup. Lead down to 7. Khalil Griffin out to Scoot Henderson. Open lane again. Scoot gets the layup. Count it, and a foul. Obi Toppin tried to set his feet, but he was unsuccessful. Still in motion as he draws the contact. 10-point game. Toppin responds with a triple, and that'll cut the lead back down to 7 as the Grizzlies continue to hang around despite Portland being in control. Here's Ja Morant with it. Lobs it up again. Obi Toppin sends it home for the Grizzlies. 52-57. Here's Scoot Henderson with it. Drives left side. Again, you cannot catch Scoot Henderson. One of the few guys in the NBA who has his speed and explosiveness is Ja Morant. But with Morant hobbling around on one ankle, not even he can catch him. Dyson Daniels with it inside, and the Aussie makes a nice move. Daniels has bounced around a little bit. He was part of the De'Aaron Fox trade package to Sacramento, now here in Memphis. He's trying to play for all the small market Western Conference teams, so I think that means he's going to be a Blazer next year. There's Porzingis with the layup, 54-61. Daniels, wide open in the corner, misses the three. Bryant with the offensive rebound. The Blazers had like 3 guys in there and nobody covering Daniels. In other words, how do you not grab the board? Obi Toppin is there with the second chance basket, and the lead is down to 5. Porzingis inside for Scoot Henderson, who makes a really nice play off the ball. Obviously, Henderson's usually the guy facilitating, handling the ball, but he's showing his versatility on offense by making a great cut. 7-point game. Thomas Bryant inside. That one is good. That was nice defense by Zay Logan, covering him without fouling, but Bryant just makes a really nice offensive play. Bryant with it on the inbound, gets it over to Marcus Smart. Back to Bryant, who misses the poster dunk over Logan. Again, really good defense without the foul. On the other end, Henderson, pump fake over to Darius Springer, who drives inside, and Springer is there with the layup, looking at potentially another double-double. He's got 9 and 7 at the moment. 60-65. Here comes Shaedon Sharpe with it. Hands it off to Darius Springer, who gets another layup. Springer with back-to-back baskets, and it's a 7-point game. Malik Beasley with it for Memphis off the screen. Beasley making it look easy. He's got a wide-open man in the corner. It's Marcus Smart who hits the three, and the Grizzlies again continue to hang around, only down by 4. Simons with it. Step back. Long-range three is good! And Furno delivers a big shot for the Blazers. 70-63. Springer with it. Looking to post up on Marcus Smart. Smart's pretty strong for a guard, but no, he cannot hold the big fella as Springer's starting to heat up after a pretty slow start on offense. Smart with it. Wide open man in the corner. Malik Beasley hits the three for the Grizzlies. Memphis shooting the three ball pretty well over the last couple of minutes as Anthony Simons on the move. His shot is good. Nice basket by Simons, who is in the double figures with 10. Around a minute left in the third quarter. Portland continuing to hang on to their lead. Smart inside, nearly loses it. Gets it over to Bryant, who has Wisham flying on the fake. And then the Grizzlies turn it over hilariously. What an awful display of passing. On the other end, Simons with it, guarded by the Claw. Simons looking to get some room. Trying to outrun Kawhi, and that strategy backfires. He's blocked by Kawhi Leonard. Memphis now with it on the other end. Both defenses continuing to play really well as Smart misses the layup. He appears to be slow to get up. On the other end, 5-on-4. Suleiman with it. Somebody's going to be open. Look at the corner. Nobody's going to try to cover Zay Logan. I don't know why he goes for the step back. He misses it. And Memphis calls a timeout now with both of their lead guards injured. Morant's shot is no good. Wisham with the rebound. Final seconds of the quarter. Springer at the buzzer. Bang! Darius Springer hits the three for the Trailblazers to make it a double-digit lead going into the fourth. 77-66. Portland with the edge going into quarter number 4. Wide open is Malik Beasley. Simons is sent to the stands on the fake. The shot inside is no good, though. Nice defense by Wisham. Griffin, wide open for 3. His shot is good. Khalil Griffin makes it a 14-point game. The biggest this lead has been all night. Morant, no good. Grabs his own rebound out to Peyton Profit, who hits the 3 for the Grizzlies. The wing out of Syracuse, a guy the Blazers liked a couple years ago coming out of college. Talented young player who's been a solid role player for the Grizzlies. Off the miss, Logan has Henderson wide open. Scoot Henderson sinks to triple. He's got a game-high 23 points, leading the way for the Blazers. 85-73. Griffin gets it over to Simons in the corner for Shaedon Sharpe, who drives in, and Sharpe sends down the hammer. 73-87. Ball is tipped. Griffin with the rebound, looking for a double-double himself. Out to Anthony Simons. Simons' jumper on the move is no good, despite the fact that he got tackled. No foul. Doesn't matter because Shaedon Sharpe is there with the offensive rebound and the putback. 74-89. Morant being smothered by Malachi Suleiman on the screen. No longer smothered as Ja Morant pulls out the pistol and lets it fire. Hopefully no one got hurt. Unlike Ja Morant today. 77-89. Blazers up by a dozen. Sharpe dunks it on Ja Morant. Shaedon Sharpe better watch out. Ja Morant's going to pull up to the other locker room, and if he's angry, well, you never know what happens. Shaedon Sharpe with another dunk. He's up to 19 points on the day. Busy fourth quarter for Air Canada as the Blazers look to put this game out of reach. They lead by 16 with around 4 minutes left. Dyson Daniels, pump fake. Daniels to Toppin, who's blocked by Springer. Claxton back with it. Second left on the shot clock. And somehow the Grizzlies scored. I don't know how they made that work, but they did. 79-93. Suleiman to Springer, wide open. Knocks it down. The Grizzlies just chose to sag off. I don't know why. Portland takes advantage. They're up by 17 now, and this one might be over. Daniels off the screen. Gets a 3 right back. Good response by Dyson Daniels, as the Blazers call a timeout, looking to figure out how they're going to put on the final blow. There you go! Scoot Henderson crosses over Ja Morant. Wide open lane. It's 82-98. Porzingis with it now. Gets it over to Darius Springer, looking to blow by Kawhi. He's doing the Lightning McQueen Jackson Storm meme where he's basically saying, "You're too old, buddy." That's going to wrap this one up. The Blazers win it 107-93. A good win here for Portland, who finishes the regular season with a record of 51-31, tied with the Sacramento Kings for the third best record in the Western Conference. And now the question is, who will be the third seed between Portland and the Kings? Scoot Henderson leads the way with 27 points, albeit on 25 shots. Not the most efficient, but he still had some nice plays. Shaedon Sharpe with 21, although, again, he didn't shoot the 3-ball well, but he was 9 for 10 from inside the arc. Darius Springer played well. Griffin was solid. Simons and Porzingis, a little bit inefficient, but they were solid. Certainly not the best offensive game, but it didn't matter because defensively we were clamps. Morant, 17 and 10, but on 21 shots. Toppin was solid. Claxton was decent. But that's about it. Kawhi Leonard had like 10 points on 14 shots. The Grizzlies' percentages were just not very good today. Their offense was not consistently creating shots, and it certainly didn't help that their best player got injured a minute into the game. So they currently have us listed still in 4th. I'm not sure if that means we will officially be in 4th or if the game hasn't updated it. So fingers crossed we move up. Now the question is, who are we going to play against in the first round? If the Spurs win this next game against the Pacers, they will get the 5th seed, and that means if we do stay at 4, it would be them. If the Pacers win, they clinch the 6th seed in the East. So they have a lot to play for, and it looks like a close game, but the Spurs pull away late, despite Victor Wembanyama's injury. So the Spurs are locked into the 5 seed. This means if we are, in fact, 4th, we're going to play against the Spurs. Victor Wembanyama wins his first NBA MVP, an exciting moment for the French big man, who is banged up going into the playoffs. That could be a silver lining if we do play against them in the first round. But nonetheless, an unbelievable season for Wemby. He already has a ring, which is kind of a Mickey Mouse ring considering he did not play in the finals. But now he is an MVP. Quite the resume before his rookie contract is up. Dante Del Toro, the number 1 pick, wins the Rookie of the Year. What I'm most impressed about is the fact that he shot 43% from 3, 45% from deep after the All-Star break. Really improved as a 3-point shooter, and obviously the rest of the numbers are there. Great rebounder, great passer, great defender. He's going to be one of the best players in the league in short time. Jaden Hardy wins Sixth Man of the Year for the Dallas Mavericks. Victor Wembanyama wins the Defensive Player of the Year. The Most Improved Player goes to Apollo Cone. This was the only award we had somebody in the running for. Khalil Griffin was in and out of the top 5 throughout the year, but he never really had a chance to win it, which is fine. I don't have an issue with that. I don't like giving it to second-year players. Apollo Cone actually improved, albeit that's largely because of more minutes, but he did legitimately get better. Ja Morant wins the Clutch Player of the Year. Steve Clifford wins the Coach of the Year. And then the Hornets executive wins the Executive of the Year, which is very well deserved. The Anthony Davis trade proved to be a grand slam for Charlotte. As we take a look at the All-NBA teams, on the first team, we've got Wemby, Luka, Morant, Shea, and Giannis. I'm hoping to see Darius Springer possibly on the second or third team. On the second team, LaMelo, Josh Giddey, Dante Del Toro. Okay, now the hype has gotten out of control. He was really good, but I wouldn't say he was second team good. Brandon Miller and Anthony Davis. On the third team, we have Anthony Davis again. Okay, I get that he was good, but the glazing is crazy. I don't know about giving him 2 All-NBA spots in 1 year. He's joined by Darius Garland, De'Aaron Fox, Anthony Edwards, and Elias Sharp, so unfortunately no Blazers. I was hoping to see Springer. Maybe Springer would have gotten the spot if the game didn't glitch it for Anthony Davis. Here's the all-defensive first team, led by well-known elite defender Luka Doncic. And on the second team, look at this! Darius Springer, all-defense! I'm a little surprised by that. Not that he's a bad defender, he's really improved on that end of the floor this season. But if he was to make an all-league team, I would have expected it to be all-NBA rather than all-defense, but I'll take it. As for the all-rookie teams, no Ashton Wisham. I was hoping he would grab a spot, but I guess those guys' numbers are better. Here's the playoff bracket, and we are the 4 seed. We're going up against San Antonio in the first round. The reason why the Kings are the 3 seed over us is because they had the head-to-head tiebreaker. They swept us 3-0 in the regular season, so they're going to be seated ahead of us, and because of that, we get to play the Spurs in the first round. Now, we did just play against the Spurs very recently. That's the game that Wembanyama got hurt. We ended up winning that game and performed really well, in my opinion. That was the game with the Ochai Agbaji heat check, and of course he shortly thereafter proceeded to get injured. So, I'm obviously a little bit concerned that we are playing against San Antonio, but they're not the same team they were last year. Giannis is not on the roster. Wembanyama's injured, so I'm hoping that's going to lead to some issues. Those are the standings in the East. The conference was pitiful. The 32-win Wizards grabbed a play-in spot. The 39-win Heat grab a playoff spot, which means no lottery pick for us because the East is a joke. Nonetheless, a very successful season in my opinion, despite all of the injuries. Only one guy played all 82, that was Khalil Griffin. Darius Springer as well only missed 1 game, and only 2 guys played more than 70, including Scoot Henderson. Injuries have been a little bit of an issue for Scoot, but he stayed really healthy this year. And then Zay Logan also played 73. Outside of Ochai Agbaji, nobody missed like a large portion of the year, but it was more so a team-wide plague of just about everybody missing like 20 games this year. So now it's time to go through our stud and dud of the year nominees. Keep in mind, these awards are expectation-based. Who went above and beyond? Who disappointed? And based on how you guys vote, certain players' ratings will move up and down. For the stud of the year, I decided to get a little bit creative. We're still only going to have a first-place winner and a second-place winner, but there were 4 guys I wanted to mention because we had star players who exceeded my expectations, but also lesser role players, and I wanted to put everybody on the ballot because I feel like there were 4 guys who deserved it. The first one, obviously, Darius Springer. Now, we did expect him to take a leap here in year 3, but I feel like I still have to include him with him being an all-star. His efficiency as a scorer was phenomenal. He made the all-defensive team, 10 rebounds per game. I mean, he has really blossomed into one of the best players in the league, finishing with an estimated wins added of over 14, highest on the team, and I'm pretty sure that's got to be like top 20 across the league. Of course, he started the year off rough in October, but really played well after that and was one of the more efficient players in the league, especially considering how good he was defensively. Our second candidate is going to be Khalil Griffin. He played all 82 games this year and was a super consistent, rock-solid player for us, which is ultimately the biggest reason why he's here, along with the fact that he improved from last year. And last season, he already went above and beyond my expectations. I did not expect Khalil Griffin to be this good, and I honestly think he has the highest ceiling of anybody on our entire roster long term, and I think he is going to explode in year 3. So shout out to Griff for playing every game and being a high-level two-way player. He finished with the second highest estimated wins added on the team, even higher than Scoot, even higher than Shaedon Sharpe, and that shows how important he is. We also had some role players step up, and I wanted to put them on the ballot. I don't know if there's a single player who's exceeded my expectations more in this series than Zay Logan, who was a pretty solid player for us last year. He was better than I expected, and this year he turned into a full-time rotation player and is absolutely going to have a big role in the playoffs. Zay Logan played 73 games and was a very consistent bench piece for us. 53% from the field, 40% from three. Great defense. Estimated wins added of close to 3. I'm a little bit surprised that number wasn't higher, but that's still really good for the 8th man off the bench. And then the last stud of the year candidate is going to be Ashton Wisham. When we drafted him, I said I did not think he was going to make much of an impact year one. He ended up playing like 68 games or something. Wisham gave us some really solid minutes as a backup 5, played good defense, was efficient on offense. He was just really steady for us, and I didn't see that coming from him, which makes me all the more excited about his long-term upside, finishing with an estimated wins added of around 2. I did not see that coming going into the year. As for our dud of the year candidates, there were a couple guys who disappointed me this year, one of whom was Anthony Simons, who was a stud of the year candidate last year. We gave him the big contract extension, and I just don't think he was all that effective this year. Now, naturally, I expected his numbers to go down a little bit. We have more cooks in the kitchen on offense, but he finished with his lowest points per game since his 3rd year. What I really don't like, though, is the efficiency. He was super inconsistent shooting the ball. 46% from the field and around 38% from 3 isn't, like, that bad. But there were too many games where he was super inefficient and not enough games where he caught fire. And we need more consistency on offense for a guy who's not much of a playmaker and not much of a defender. His estimated wins added was basically equal to that of Zay Logan, who's making 10 times less money per year than what Simons is. As for our second candidate, I had a hard time with this one, but I'm ultimately going to go with Kristaps Porzingis. And I don't think he was bad per se, and if I had a chance to do over the trade, I think I would still do it. The one thing, though, is that I would be a lot more hesitant on giving up Dante Branch. Not to say that the player we swapped him for, Malachi Suleiman, was bad. I really like what Suleiman provided for us, but in hindsight, Dante Branch, 3 first-round picks, and other stuff does feel like an overpay for Porzingis, considering he was inconsistent on defense, points was low, efficiency wasn't great, 47% from the field. You're 7'3", man. I get he's never had that high of a field goal percentage, and it is higher than his career average, but I still would have hoped for more. 35% from 3 also feels kind of low. He stayed healthy for the most part, playing around 3/4 of our games this year, but he wasn't as effective as I would have hoped for. His estimated wins added was only 2.6, which was almost equal to Ashton Wisham, lower than Zay Logan, lower than Anthony Simons. He was just a little disappointing, but I feel like he can certainly right his wrongs in the playoffs based on our series and his performance against Wembanyama and the Spurs. I thought about Ochai Agbaji, but I didn't think it was fair. He only played 24 games this year. His numbers were down, but that's mostly because he had a diminished role, largely because he was on a minutes restriction for like half the games that he played. And if you put in his per 36 minutes, it's not that far off from what he did last year. Now, if Ochai Agbaji misses 60 games again and averages 11 points a night next year, then he will be a dud of the year candidate. But with all the injuries he had, I didn't really think it was fair. But we're going to have less of a leash on him next year. And if he does disappoint again, then we're going to put him on the dud of the year list. Hope everybody enjoyed the episode. Next time around, we will kick off the playoffs. Games 1 and 2 of the first round against the Spurs as we look for revenge after they swept us in the second round last year. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Peace out.